Have you ever wondered how a very successful organization suddenly reaches a ceiling and the leader begins to feel burnout? Let me tell you about a CEO we'll call Bob, who had established a flourishing business over a couple of decades. His extensive organization served major clients across multiple states. But nevertheless, the operation continued to rely on Bob's decision-making while his key leaders lacked full authority to lead. Now the business had plateaued, several key leaders were underperforming and feeling discouraged, and Bob was beginning to feel burnout. How did such a successful entrepreneur get to this point? Well, in short, he failed to make the transition from managing to leading effectively as a senior executive. As we move from being an individual contributor to a manager to a senior leader, we need to master new skills. We need to lead differently. As has been said, what got you here won't get you there. Here are 3 key areas in which you need to lead differently. Let's start with leading the organization. First, what has changed at this level? Your priorities become longer term and more strategic. Your focus becomes broader and enterprise-wide, and you're now accountable for organizational culture and morale, as well as organizational results. So how must you lead at this level? First, make sure that the purpose and vision for the organization are clear. People need to understand why what you do matters. Second, a goal without a plan is just a wish. You need to have a strategic plan that's written so that you can refer to it often and align the team around it. Finally, you need to hire, promote, and reward, and fire if necessary, based on culture. Your culture will never be better than the worst behavior you tolerate. In terms of leading leaders, what has changed? Well, the demands on your time has certainly increased, and you're farther from the front lines. Second, as you're farther up the organization, you're not able to get things done by yourself. You have to work through others. The good news is your direct reports' experience and capabilities are much greater at this level. Leading at this level, it's important to build a strong leadership team. We've seen too many leaders try to run the organization themselves, working just one-on-one with their direct reports. They still make most of the key decisions in the organization rather than creating an empowered and cohesive leadership team that reduces silos in the organization. Second, delegation is critical. As leaders, your direct reports need to have clear goals so that they understand your expectations. Hold bi-weekly one-on-ones with them to coach them and hold them accountable. Finally, when it comes to operational issues, make decisions quickly. That keeps the team moving and prevents analysis paralysis. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, leading yourself. Here's what has changed. Your stress level is certainly higher because you're now handling much more difficult issues. The easy things are being taken care of by the people you lead. Second, it can be lonely at the top, and you now have less accountability because you have fewer or maybe even no bosses at this level. It's also important to remember that your words now matter a lot more. Whether what you say is negative or positive, be careful what you say. So how should you lead yourself? Stephen Covey uses the metaphor of a lumberjack sawing down a tree who's so busy he fails to take time to sharpen the saw. As senior leaders, we need to be intentional about rest, family time, and spiritual renewal to stay sharp and avoid burnout. Next, don't try to manage your time alone. Make effective use of an executive assistant. They're an invaluable member of your team. Hand over control of your calendar and routine correspondence. Then hold at least weekly one-on-ones to plan and delegate. Make sure you have accountability, encouragement, and coaching. Who can you confide in on confidential matters? Should you consider a coach as a mentor and advisor, or perhaps forming an advisory board? I think Henry Cloud sums up this whole topic nicely. As a leader, you are always going to get a combination of 2 things, what you create and what you allow. What are some ways you could level up your leadership? And let us know how we can help you.